And I think Michael Lana might, he was at another meeting, but he might also try to join at some point.
Oh,
Are you
wow.
expecting any others from your team?
I think we are all here. Sandeep, we are all here, right?
Yeah, it was just 4 of us. We didn't
Yeah.
invite anyone else. because-
Anybody else?
Okay, that's great. So let's get started. I will just start to say I'm Elizabeth Foster. I'm the Vice President of Research and Standards, and I'm working on our standards revision as well as, and part of that work is working with our research team to look at what's happening in various studies related to professional learning since the last revision of the standards 10 years ago. So that's been an exciting body of work for me to sort of be able to look at what's happened over the last decade in terms of equity and curriculum and professional learning. And then I work with Nikki with all of our affiliates. So that's me, and I will pass it to Sandeep.
Thank you, Elizabeth. I'm in a public place, so I'm hiding my face. Don't think I have anything to hide. So my office is in the middle of a book cafe.
Oh,
So
Nice.
there's a lovely coffee shop, there's a bookshop, then my little office which I have here. So I have to be a little more careful with the way I work in the current difficult times. So thank you for having us over. It's so wonderful always to come for the check-ins. Yes, this check-in was exciting. It took a little while organizing it. Thank you, Nikki, and thank everyone for the patience, for the effort to get everyone together. It's been a wonderful year since we last met. We met in May 20, right? When the lockdown had just started and we didn't know what was ahead for us. So there's been a phenomenal amount of learning, and we've kind of used this as an opportunity in disguise. I'm sure Monisha and Sir will now take it ahead and help us, lead us, guide us, and tell us more. We have with us our chairman, sir. We have Monisha, who now is the executive director for India. She is what you would call CEO or president. And then Devanjali, the omnipresent, is always there. Just a little aside, Devanjali has relocated to Dubai, or is in the process of relocation. So she works with a company who are hoping to absorb her in a new role in Dubai, which is looking after Middle East and North Africa. So she's in transit. So she joined us from Dubai. She has a meeting half an hour from now. So I had made a request to the chairperson to please allow her to speak before the others. Over to you, chairperson, sir.
So you're on mute.
Yes, sorry.
That's the line we've been saying for 18 months now.
yeah, absolutely.
Please go ahead, Devanjali.
So I think I've met Nikki, Elizabeth, and Frederick in person. That was 2 years back now. So I think right before, that's about 2018 December we met.
Mhm.
So I've been around supporting in every way that I can. I mean, my journey with education in parallel goes on with a new firm that I'm working for. It's called Wise Knows. We curate internet content for education, basis learning objectives. So I feel a lot of that can also align with what we do at Learning Forward. So and I think whenever possible, I'm there for Learning Forward and for the India office especially. And yes, just a little bit. I think now that I know all of you in person, I don't think I need to go back into basic introduction mode. So hello to everyone. Looking forward for today's interaction and the update. I will step out quietly in about 25 minutes, if that's all right, please. Thank you.
And what time is it in Dubai right now?
It's right now it's 5:07
Oh, okay.
p.m. So yeah, I mean 5:30. I need to kind of step out.
Understood.
Thank you. Sir, thank you so much.
Thank you, Devanjali. Yes, like Devanjali said, the journey continues. And the last 2 years, last time we met, of course, a year ago, have been fairly exciting and trying at times. And I must compliment our team that, all the effort that's been put together by everyone, all the members and board members and everybody else. And there's been tremendous teamwork. And we have really grown. We started off with 1 or 2 schools. Now we are, I think, with more than half a dozen schools whom we are helping directly now, their staff, their children, everybody else. And it's a great feeling, whatever experience we have, whatever we gained, of course, from the journey that started at Fab India School, carries on. And it's good to share all the experience we all have, and in helping, especially the teachers and now the children. I think that's been our philosophy, that, we need teachers to be happy, we need children to be happy, and it's, you actually, won't have the exact idea of what Indian schools are about or what Indian education is about. And one thing which we are really working hard at, and which all the teachers, some of the programs we do, is the values with the children. And this country really needs it. We really need the children to grow up from knowing what is right from what is, they must know, be able to differentiate between what is right and what is wrong. And I think that's, to me, is the basic of education. So we have all, got together, we've been doing this. It's so good to see the staff, wherever we go, the work schools we work with, are getting more and more confident. Very often the staff, like most of us, underestimate ourselves and sometimes are not confident enough. Now, our meetings with them gives them the confidence. They've started writing blogs, they're starting, sharing their views. So it's been a wonderful journey. And though the pandemic has had its own, of course, problems, but at the same time, it's been a great advantage in many ways in getting in touch with schools without moving physically, from place to place. And you know how in India, traveling is not easy. So we get together more often now, and a lot of the things we are doing, I think, I'll hand it over to you to explain what's going on. Before you start, one more thing which I would like to share with all of you is that all of the things you're doing, and he, written a book called "Are You for the Children? Are You Ready for the World?" And then Mr. Ashok Pandey, schools and
Sir, excuse me, sir, there's some disturbance coming from your end. Either there's the speaker mic or something's getting touched. There's some distortion coming from that side.
is it still
This is
coming?
clear. Yeah, now this is fine.
Now it's okay? All right. So we have these two great educationists with us now. One's a doctor, and who wrote the book about how to bring up children and how to face the world. And he's been a great help. And they attend, our meetings now. And Mr. Pandey, like I said, has had a great experience with a vast spectrum of schools in rural areas, government schools, private schools. So it's good to have them on board. Yes, Sandeep?
So I thought I'll introduce them and add some more.
Yeah, please do.
Dr. Anupam Sybil heads the Apollo group of hospitals in India. He's a pediatrician. I can never get this word right. And he writes books. He is world renowned. If you just search on the internet, Dr. Anupam Sybil, you'll find lots about him. His focus is perhaps from a pediatric doctor's point of view, but he knows a lot about psychology, child behavior, and he focuses on counseling parents. So I thought that would be a valuable resource to us, to have someone with a perspective of parental knowledge, parenting, as well as children. It was a breath of fresh air that he came along, and he's helping us. He is helping us in our program and capacity building. He meets us regularly. He spares a lot of time for us despite his busy schedule. Second person who's very interesting person, this is Dr. Ashok Pandey. Dr. Ashok Pandey is currently SDG ambassador from India. And he is listed in Forbes as one of the 100 most influential educationists in India. So Dr. Pandey is helping us on two ways. One, of course, he's helping us create this show, which you may have heard recently, Stories of Schools from Far and Beyond. So what he does is he comes with us to a school, he meets all the stakeholders of a school, puts teachers at the center, and then looks at the relationship between teachers and the management, teachers and the students, teachers and the community, and teachers and teachers. So he specializes in building what he calls a teacher-first system. That is his strength. He currently heads a group of schools called Alcon Schools. He's based out of New Delhi. Thank you, sir.
Right. Thank you, Sandeep. Yes, Monisha, please carry on.
Hi, good evening, good morning, different time zones. So it's a pleasure to meet all of you. I've been hearing about you since last year when I joined the Learning Forward team, Learning Forward India team. And like Sandeep said, this year has been a quick learning experience for all of us, or should I say a beautiful learning experience. It's been like a roller coaster ride, trying to adapt into the new technology, catching hold of people who actually are in the need of being led and being trained. That's where Learning Forward really came in as the most amazing tool is what I would call it. An organization which was so well equipped to train the trainers. And just a brief introduction about myself. I like to call myself a passionate learner. I believe in learning different things at every walk of life. So currently I'm learning piano because while I'm an avid reader. So as I read different genres, I realize that when you're working with children with different abilities, it's easier to teach them through arts and music. I've always been a music person. So recently I started trying to understand the relation between mathematics and piano. Because when you're creating music, there's a half note and there's a lot of numbers that are there which we never associate. And in that entire process, my math is getting better because I think if I was identified at my age, I must have been geographically and mathematically dyslexic. I still don't get a lot of fundamental things. My right from left is always wrong. So I'll tell you to turn right, and most of the people who know me, they turn left. They know I mean left, but I'm saying right. So calling myself a passionate learner, I think I found this platform a journey of joy. And what all we've been doing in this last 1 year, I'll take you through that journey once you've all gone through the introduction phase. Thank you so much, but it's a pleasure and a delight to meet all of you.
Thank you, Monisha.
Thank you, sir. Over to you, Elizabeth.
Thank you. Maybe we'll have the rest of the Learning Forward team just say their hellos as well. And then I would love to hear, Monisha, your assessment of the past year and your successes. That would be wonderful. Thank you so much. It is really a delight to see you all today. Thank you. Nikki, do you want to go, or Fred?
Yeah, sure. My name is Nikki Gamble. I am the Director of Partnership and Products. I work out of the Oxford, Ohio office for Learning Forward. My role with affiliates is providing administrative support in various ways, but also by assisting them in processing memberships, managing websites, and helping to organize meeting logistics.
All right, thank you, Nikki, and good evening and morning to everyone. Frederick Brown, the Chief Learning Officer and Deputy with Learning Forward. And I was a few days ago, very much closer to your time zone than I am right now. I was actually in Athens last week. And so we could have been almost on the same time zone if we had done this call last week. The one thing that I'm really interested in as we have our conversation today, in addition to everything else that I know you all will be sharing, is this year, as we've all experienced something across the world that has given us a similar experience, and that's very rare indeed. And one of the things that we're learning here with teachers and schools is, among the many things that they're trying to figure out, is how to help teachers who are just burned out, just tired, and just overwhelmed. And in many cases, in some of our schools, they aren't able to hire staff because people just don't want to go back into schools to do the work. And when I say staff, not just teachers and principals, but the other support staff in the schools, the people who drive the buses, who help clean the buildings and all those things. And so it's just been every conversation I've had with educators, principals in particular, they just say over and over again, everyone is just at their wit's end at this time. So I'm just curious, as we talk today, what the experience has been in India and Devanjali, and perhaps some of the other places where you're supporting schools. How are people coping, and what are maybe some ideas that people have come up with in the midst of this to help people cope? So I'll turn it back over to you, Elizabeth.
Thank you. Well, as we've been having these check-ins, we are following an informal agenda, really asking affiliate leaders to share with us their successes and challenges. And then after that, we can talk about some more technical aspects, like we'd love to hear how your membership is going. We can talk about the website or social media or other kinds of ways to connect. I am struck by the comment earlier on that the pandemic has actually been, the silver lining of the pandemic has been that you've been able to meet more and maybe connect more because you don't have the challenge of travel. And so that's something we'd love to hear about as well. So really, if we could just start, I mean, I'm hearing hints of a lot of successes in the past year. So we'd love to hear what you've been up to.
Devanjali, may I request you to tell us something about the membership?
So I mean, I don't have the membership numbers pulled out, but I think we've been growing and we've been doing memberships in very innovative ways now. So of course, like we don't align completely with the membership numbers and the fees that Learning Forward globally charges, because the whole, I mean, we all know the dollar rate and the rupee rate doesn't work, but we've been doing lifetime memberships for teachers, which is actually just 1,000 rupees, if I'm not wrong.
1,100, yes.
1,100 rupees, which is actually just about $15 or so, $15, $16. And that gives them lifetime membership, access to a lot of content that we share, some of our material that we put, membership to a WhatsApp group and a Telegram group that we run, support from the different people and educators within the ecosystem. And of course, they can call out for maybe in terms of even career switches, they can call out to each other if they need some support. So I'd let Sandeep add to this, considering he's the mastermind behind new structuring memberships here.
Thank you, Devanjali. You know, membership for us in India, if you want numbers, just open the gate and you'll be flooded with numbers. So we didn't want to open the gate, yet we wanted to create a quality structure. That was the whole idea. So Devanjali beautifully mentioned that we worked 3 years to figure out whether we should charge or we should not charge, or what we should charge. So yes, we have a challenge of selling a $69 membership. We just about managed to get 10, 15 people on an average every year. We don't get more than that. More because of culture, content, and design. the way our education system works, the content we need, and the culture here. So perhaps people will gravitate more towards the India membership than towards the Learning Forward America membership. Even the newsletter you send us, it talks so much about the American system. So perhaps the person does not get value from it. And sometimes people who have paid $69 ask us, why did I pay $69? So we tell them you paid them for the betterment of teachers. So that anyway we handle, that's not a different challenge at all. So regarding to India membership, if you see in the last report, there were two different kind of membership structures offered by Devanjali. One was a paid live membership, which started this year. And second is what we call a social emotional support. So in the social emotional support, which we started more in the current times, we opened free memberships to people who want to come on board. Now, the idea of a free membership was, I help you, you help me, as simple as that. So when you came onto a group of about 450 people, you always find someone who could use as a shoulder or as a talking point or as a conversation or experience sharing. So that's an open membership. It's a membership which is a general membership. So these are the two management structures we have for membership. A paid lifetime. A paid lifetime helps you attend a monthly book reading session. A paid lifetime gives you access to our blog, podcasts, and a paid lifetime membership also gives you event invites to whatever we do offline or online. Now, when you come for a particular event, which is like a learning program or which is like what we call the professional learning program, then you pay for a session. You can pay for a session or you can buy a whole program. So that's the advantage of a live membership. As regards the general membership is concerned, you don't get these invites or entry to programs till you actually sign up for a live membership. Is that all, Devanjali?
Yes.
I'd like to add on something to this. Of late, what we have started doing, we've added another innovative factor into this entire thing. So once we take you through our programs, you will realize we started doing something known as a reverse role. So rather than targeting the heads, we are targeting the teachers. And through the teachers and changing their way of working, we are actually encouraging the heads to become members of the Learning Forward. So they are ready to invest the $69, but that is not happening because normally what happens in India, the school heads are very occupied with a lot of paperwork. The system works in such a way that their heads are down and they're not looking around them. So getting them to pay attention to what's happening around them, the best way is to get their teachers working in a completely innovative and a different way, or creating that vibe among teachers where the teachers are excitedly talking about a program they have recently attended voluntarily, not because the school had sent them across for it. And that's where we utilized a lot of our programs which we designed and worked on during the pandemic, so that teachers started doing the learning process on their own. And when they went back into school, those two teachers got 6 more and a vibe got created in the staff room. So automatically the head noticed, and then the head is a part of the membership now, the Learning Forward member. So, we're trying to work out different ways because, like Sandeep said, the mindsets are different. They are looking at value for money in very small things, not a far vision at times. So, and especially during a pandemic, because a lot has changed in our country. We're not that technology enabled, if you see. So reaching out to the heads at a time of crisis did not sound very logical, but reaching out to the teachers to enable them and empower them was easier for us. That's how the entire lifetime membership came into the picture. So
Thank you.
Thanks.
We've been having this conversation somewhat as well, that heads of schools or districts are overwhelmed by the logistics of managing the return to school and the COVID precautions, along with some other political things that are keeping them occupied. So the idea of energizing the teachers to then share what they're excited about and learning about with the heads of school is such a smart, creative approach. I love that.
Can I have the option of sharing the screen? Then I'll just quickly take you through the journey of what all are the various programs we guys have started over here.
Great.
So if I could just share the screen, would I be able to share?
Yeah, do you have the menu bar at the bottom that has the green
I have
share
that. I
screen
have
button?
do I have the
Okay.
rights?
Yes, oh, of course.
Okay, thank you so much. Chairman, sir, if I have your permission, I'll just walk through the program.
Please go ahead.
Thank you, sir. So what we have, like we mentioned, we've been trying out different ways and means of getting members on board. And not just that, taking the main feature of learning forward with us, along with us in this entire journey, and that is capacity building. Setting standards and capacity building according to those standards, where we are not just setting the standards, but we're also evaluating according to those standards. So keeping that in mind, the various programs that we came up with, one of the basic things that we have started now is Born to Lead, what we call as the BTL program. So what the BTL program does is, you all would agree that the teachers are playing a multiple role. They're not just teaching, they're mentors, they're psychologists, they're counselors, they are, doing a lot of other work, they're helping their peers. And in the entire process, all the teachers forget that they are leaders. They are leading the entire class that they are handling and the team of colleagues that they are working with. So just to make them understand that each teacher has the potential to be a leader, because you are any which way working on those lines, we created this program known as BTL, where because teachers are busy, they can't do a long-term program, and we are looking out for coaches to help us work with them. We give them a 4-week intensive program. First week, they all collaborate and they try to understand the philosophy of what a leader is all about. What are the different types of leaderships? What their personality type is. So they're connecting with a coach who is getting them to sit back, introspect, and reflect. Once they have connected with the coach and there has been, some kind of a spark ignited, they start communicating within the group in the second week. So it's a 4-week program. So in the second week, they're communicating among themselves and trying to figure out what is their own style of leadership. They collaborate and then they create their article according to them. What would they want in a leader, or what are they going to be as when they are a leader? So we are basically changing the mindset of the teacher and moving them from being just a trainer to going a little beyond and being a leader of the trainer as well. Right? So our BTL program is a small capsule kind of a thing, which allows the teachers who want to join in move further to become a coach. Like Sandeep said, it's a 3-year intensive thing. So you can't just say, okay, fine, I want to be a coach and join the membership, but not be an active part of what needs to be done. They should have the same philosophy. Along with it, they should be able to deliver what is expected from the Learning Forward team. So to check whether they have that and to take them into that direction, to make them think in that direction, the BTL program is designed. Sandeep, would you like to add anything to the BTL thing?
Yeah, Monisha, the interesting thing about the Born to Lead program, it's like when we talk of affordable quality education,
Yeah.
and in India, our focus at Learning Forward has been a very sensitive that it has to be affordable, because that's the only way we will reach where we are supposed to. So if you look at schools, what we call the Indian public schools, or the Indian, I don't want to use the word elite, but the Indian schools which take care of the upper class, if I may say, use that word, they perhaps have their own learning systems, their learning management systems, they have technology support. They are perhaps not the one we should address our effort to. That's what we learned from the 216, 217, 218 years. We thought it was best to go to the affordable category schools. And the biggest challenge in the affordable category schools are teachers were under-resourced, teachers were under-trained, and teachers were under a lot of burden in terms of social emotional baggage. So we thought, let's address this and let's try and get in them the zing to go back to the class as a leader. And that was the whole genesis of a Born to Lead program. See, most of our programs run for 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. Now, for a teacher to finance a 1 year, 2 year, 3 year learning was tough. But if, like Monisha said, if a teacher came to a short program with their own small resources, which is just $8, $10 for the month, they go back in groups to classes in schools where they encourage their school heads to invest for them. Because the school head sees that even a 1 month program is excited the teacher to learn. And we promise you in that 1 month, kind of give you a whole array and feel of what we do. Does that help, Monisha?
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. And that is basically like a stepping stone into our next program, though it's not really related. But if you look at it, the Joy of Learning 11-week program takes a deep dive into making teachers something beyond
Monisha, 11
just,
months, not 11 weeks.
sorry,
now.
11 weeks, 11 months. Yeah. Now we are an 11-month program. We tried doing a short thing, but we realized this needs a lot of extensive work because the teachers are working on values. So they have to understand what does appreciation mean and how do you implement appreciation in class? How do you ensure that your children become appreciators? So, you know, whatever learnings they do of value system, like Mr. Devgan pointed out in the beginning, that we feel a very, very urgent need of ensuring that the next generation sees role models and everyone understands the importance of values. Because there are so many gray areas that have walked into everyone's life that it's very difficult for people to understand the importance of honesty. So, you know, I've been traveling a lot across to different schools, like in Germany, Finland, UK and all. And one thing we've realized is what we miss out in our education system is we have kind of forgotten to integrate values into the subjects. You know, they're all working in isolation. So we're only doing mathematics, but we forget even mathematics has a factor of honesty in it. Art has a factor of honesty in it. So we kind of utilized our pandemic to work extensively on these 22 values. We discuss 2 values every week and every month. And in that month, when they have discussed those 2 values, we follow the same system of connect, communicate, collaborate, and create. So teachers, by the end of it, there are a group of 5 or 6 teachers in each group. Normally we work with a batch of 25 teachers in this. And these teachers then break into their groups after the first 90-minute session of Connect. And then they start communicating their idea of that value or those values. And by the end of it, once they have got together, because not all of them are good at writing, not all of them are good at reading. So what we are targeting is, along with this doing the values, we are also integrating 2 types of learnings over here for the teachers to do their research and to be able to write in a limited, you know, to put across an idea in limited number of words. So by the end of it, they're all creating blogs. Later on, we diversify into creating podcasts also. If somebody wants to create a podcast or a video, that's encouraged. But bottom line of this particular program is they should all be able to create their blogs, write their articles, and carry that learning back into the classroom, right? So that's another program that we are successfully running and happily running. It's really caught on well in most of the schools we are doing it with. Another program, anything else you want to add on, Sandeep or Devkin, sir?
Fine, it's fine. Carry on.
Yeah. So the other program, thank you, sir. Thank you, Sandeep. The other thing that we have been working with is diversity, because India technically is a very diverse country. You know, when we talk of diversity, we look at countries outside, but in India itself, there are different states, different dialects. Even in one state, there are different dialects, different living styles and cuisines and culture. So acceptance of each other's culture, I think, is the need of the hour with all that is growing on right now. So we are working with schools in which we are encouraging teachers to, again, we are doing a lot of reading with teachers. And in this program, what we call as DIBS, we are reading a book by Kavita Ghosh, known as Wanted a Backbencher Teacher, a last ranker teacher, a teacher who's been a failure herself to understand what a child actually goes through when teachers are not talking to them in the right language. And this is a very, it's a very controversial kind of an approach, because we are, in a way, we are instigating teachers and managements to go beyond the conventional work. So again, this is an 11-month program in which every month we are talking about conventional versus contemporary school management system. We are talking about love learning versus hate learning. We are talking about to copy or not to copy. So we are giving different thoughts, and then trying to see which kind of new system is better for today's education or today's youth, or for an individual, or a better growth of a school. So if you notice, it goes slowly from a teacher, it goes to a group of teachers. Now it is getting and touching the management also, where everyone is a part of this learning, because we're talking about all the stakeholders by the end of the day. And like they say, raising a child, you can't raise a child alone. It takes a village to raise the child, the famous African proverb. So we kind of integrating all our programs, keeping that thought in mind. Anything to be added on here, gentlemen? Sandeep?
No, diversity program is great. Why? Because from a school, like Sir has done it in schools himself.
Schools, yeah.
It's very interesting, where it brings a better correlation between the school management and the teachers. That's where the understanding is focused. Am I right in saying that, sir?
Absolutely.
And plus, we are challenging the management to understand the need of the hour. Once upon a time, maybe rejection was a way of working, but is it better? Is rejection the way of working? Is it rejection versus affection? Times have changed. The way we are bringing up our children have changed. So why are we trying to follow the old system of education? So it's a very thought-provoking program. And again, over here, the emphasis is on reading, writing, and research. Yes, sir.
No, please carry on. You finish?
No, sir, please. Hanji. No,
I just wanted to add that, this program, the values, what, I talked earlier, and our educators in India, as a society, most people are introverts, and they don't have belief in themselves for some reason, because they just don't come out with the ideas they have, they think. Now, this program is making them feel more confident. They've started writing, they've started reading more. And I mean, it is quite incredible the kind of podcasts they come out with, the videos they make, the writing they do. And when they are so involved in the schoolwork and everything like that, very few teachers write at all, And this blog, everyone has to write a blog, whether it's in a team or whether otherwise. They're also free sometimes to, write individually if they want to, and express their views on certain things they feel about. So that way, I think this program has been a great success, and it has helped teachers. I can see the difference. They feel the difference. And at the end of certain, programs, they come out when we ask them to speak. I mean, they're totally different people. The kind of confidence they have, and they almost at times are sorry to leave the program, that the program has ended, and that's a good feeling. Yes, Monica, please.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, you want to share the last graduation we had, sir? Our Joy of Learning, where we had 16 teachers graduate at that small school in Salangaon. Salangaon is a village near us. So you want to share something about that? Because I think that was a major pandemic success for us, to hold those teachers from their homes, from their mobile phones, and then ensuring that our heads and hearts met.
It is quite incredible. Let's go on, carry on. I think, explain a little more. It's interesting.
Okay, so basically we were working with a school which has got teachers with no technology enablement, to a point that most of them were working with very outdated phones. A lot of things that we wanted to share with them, because we were under lockdown, they couldn't go to the school. So there was a major limitation on how we were going to reach out to them with the JOL program. The beauty of that entire process was, while we were working with them, after the initial, I think, 2 sessions, most of them panicked and said, we don't want to do the sessions anymore. We don't know which direction are we moving into. And Sandeep and I were called into the office because they'd never done anything online. For them, it was always physical. And for them, it was like, we'll only restart this program once the lockdown finishes. Whereas the need of the hour was we do it now, not when the lockdown finishes, because they are teaching the children. So we requested them to give us 2 sessions. And if they still aren't satisfied, we'll withdraw the program. After the 3rd session, we didn't even need to move to the 4th session. And we started doing different things with them.
Yeah.
It was amazing. And on the last day, when we asked them to share their experiences, it was so beautiful. It was so overwhelming. It was so touching for teachers, because that school has a philosophy. They carry their workers along with them. So their bus driver or their help or the one who's serving water was also a part of that learning. So for her to have the student who she had seen grow up in the school, help her in learning that technology, writing the blog post, creating the blog post, doing the research for it was so enabling. And we did not put a language barrier to it. It was okay if they were doing it in Hindi, as far as they were doing the 3 things we wanted them to do: read, write, and research. And it was
some was
like
speaking also. Sorry for.
Yeah,
you can also mention, yeah, some couldn't write, so they spoke into the devices.
And they were the first school which eventually got so excited that even before we started the session, the values that we would put up, they would create a video-based story on it. And that used to be shared during the session. So their research used to happen even before the session would get initiated. So from not wanting to do to reach that point where they were ready to enable us with the sessions, it was outstanding. It was beautiful. That feeling in itself was great. That made pandemic worth every miserable second that we spent in the house worth it. It was really nice. And like we worked with that school where there was no help as far as even doing a basic reading and writing was there. Certain schools who had that potential but needed to be enabled on technology, we utilized our video-powered professional learning with them. So what we did was we read Dr. Sybil's book. Dr. Sybil's book is basically, is your child ready to face the world? And when Dr. Sybil writes, like Sandeep mentioned, he's a pediatrician, and he's a pediatric surgeon, by the way. So he has this knack to understand what the child is actually going through. So he works on the psychology of the child without actually being a psychologist. And he uses those examples to make them as life learning lessons for his own son, Devang. Right? So the interaction in the book is very realistic. You're talking about a student, a child who's interacting with the father and trying to figure out what's happening and why not to give up, to find your calling. So the topics are very interesting. So what we started doing was we started reading that book in class, debating what does calling mean to you, or what does humility mean to you. And then the teachers would prepare a lesson, a 10-minute lesson based on a video. So they would record themselves teaching that particular thing to a class and put it onto a platform known as Thane. On the Thane platform, we had put some coaches from outside who would go through those videos and then give their suggestions on how to make that lesson better. If there were some intonations to be added while the speech was, whether the speech was clear or not, how should the background be, what your body language should be. So that empowered the teacher who had the delivery option to deliver better. And they initially, you know, in India, people are not very happy with, especially in our teaching community, taking feedback is really looked down upon, or they feel very threatened with it. And we came to a point with the VPL where teachers actually, if the coaches were late, would contact the coaches to say, I've already put the video, can you please give me a feedback? And knowing that the feedback is going to be public in their group. Right? So they started working on Thane, posting their videos regularly based on this book. And then we moved on to another program where we took in teachers from all walks of life, different subjects, and taught them how to use different technology or platforms to enable their teaching and delivery. Earlier, this was only to do with recording their lessons, but now how to make your lessons interesting. So we started something known as Building Innovative Schools. So now the teacher is responsible to make that school successful in its own right. So Building Innovative School, we had Mark Shark who associated with us, and they did good 11 sessions with all the teachers. We had a group of 25 teachers from different schools. Again, we try and work with a group of 25 teachers. And they did things like flipped learning, what is hybrid classroom, what is blended learning, what kind of tools can they use if they're teaching language, what kind of tools do they use if they're teaching mathematics. And we were marking them in this particular thing. While we had walked through the entire journey, over here they had to earn their certificates. So they, in every session, before the session, we would give them an assignment to do. So the session was divided into two parts. One was them presenting what their learning was, and then the team of people sitting, educators sitting, who would give their input into that particular topic, as well as teach them one new topic, introduce them to something new. And this went so diversified, like from talking about technology, we were actually debating and talking about metacognition, which had technically no relation if you look at it, but it was completely related. And teachers demanded to know those things. They wanted to understand what if we do this and how do we do this. So I think this was, again, another program that skyrocketed very fast. And teachers did come up with good ways of doing things. Sandeep, would you like to add on anything onto the BIS thing?
Yeah, Fred, Thane is from your part of the country. And even Mark Sharks works out of New York. So you can now see that India and America with Learning Forward are going further and getting partners who are not just vendors, but who are actually co-creators of learning resources. So Mark Sharks was very kind. They were one of our largest benefactors, if I may want to mention this here, to the foundation also. And we have to be grateful to them for their experts who volunteered. There was a person from New York waking up at wrong hours and actually coming for the session. So I think that was actually brilliant because he would come out in our comfort hours. So at 4 p.m. in India, he would be up for the session. So you can well imagine how exciting this collaboration, trans-border collaboration was. So it really brought to life what Learning Forward's vision is, how teachers collaborate to co-create learning, how standards, data, and resources all add up to a better learning experience. And I think that's a major part of learning in the last 11 months. So I mentioned in the chat that why we are saying 11 weeks sometimes, because we started doing these 11-month programs in 11 weeks. And that's how we were able to rapidly do the programs in the pandemic times. And that's the silver lining. Now, why we came to 11 weeks? Because we felt teachers were finding emotional solace when they were coming back with their work faster than we could anticipate. So when teachers would meet on a Friday for a session, they would actually by Sunday finish their group work, which was fascinating. And they used to work on weekends. And then on Monday, they would come back to actually create. And before the next session came, every Thursday, they had published their work they had done. So whether it was a podcast or whether it was a video or whether it was a text-based assignment or whether it is a simple presentation in PowerPoint, I think this is a revelation to us that what we plan in 1 year, we were able to achieve in 2 months. And for this, I think we have to be deeply grateful to the Mark Sharks team as well as Thane, because Thane did something very unique. They told us, we will give you licenses at the price point you decide. So I can't share my price point with you, but the best part is Thane said, okay, you tell us the number of licenses you want, but we won't have the licenses free. It would be intellectual property. So you decide what the price is. And who does that today? So I must thank Adam, Robert, and the entire team. They met us 5-6 times. They are still working with us. Yes, we've been slow with Thane, because it's something very, very new for us. Without devices, we are not in the Apple system, because the challenge in India is we are on Android and more on Windows. We hardly have any Apple in India, and large amount of learning and technology which comes from US works better in the Apple ecosystem. So we have that challenge also. We work on basic Android feature devices. So that challenge is also there. But even with all these challenges, I think we came a long way, thanks to support from partners, thanks to school heads, and thanks for educators who took out all the time in the world to sit late hours, badger us at 10 p.m. at night, ask us questions at all hours, and we were all available. That's the silver lining of the pandemic. Thank you, Monisha.
Thank you, Sandeep. And like Sandeep said, the interesting factor of this entire process and where Learning Forward has taken us is we've created a community of learners, community of people who are ready to share their learning. Because earlier there were walls, people were not ready to share their learning. It was very school oriented. Now schools are ready to volunteer. After the BIS program, we had a lot of these teachers who said, okay, fine. And they're taking help from each other, by the way, even now, once they are out of this program cycle, they're still interacting with each other to find out how are they making a specific lesson in math or science more interesting. And the school heads are volunteering and saying that if you need a workshop on this topic or this topic, we're available, just let us know. These are the dates and time that we are available. So yes, a great community of educators has got created who's available to help each other in the entire thing. And that brings us to the last program that we started is the My Good School program, where eventually after creating teachers and helping teachers and then the head and the management, with the My Good School program, we're talking of all the stakeholders. That means we've involved the parents, we've involved the students and everyone on board. So that creates the whole community and everyone walks that same talk. And we work towards a direction, right? And besides this, we've done, I'll just quickly let you know, we have created recognition programs for the teachers where they're getting certificates and all. We were shortlisted in the 100. Yeah.
Monisha, this was a World Bank asked 100 to create 10 innovation in the world, which had impact and which was scalable. So after about almost 120 days, we lost out in the end, but we got shortlisted.
Yeah.
We didn't come in the top 10, but we carry a shortlist ribbon. Monisha, you can refer to that recognition of the innovation. So if you click on the innovation page, Monisha,
I just click that.
You can do that. I can't handle your screen.
No, I'm just doing that.
So when you click on the just handle the innovation tab. Yeah, innovation. So when you go to the innovation page, no, you have clicked some. Yeah, here it is. So this has been recognized as a global innovation. You can find out more.
The PLP has got a global recognition.
Yeah, our professional
shortlisted
learning
into
program,
the
how we have co-created a program of impact and scalability. So this program is accepted by 100. 100 is a Finland-based organization. By the way, I was invited to 100 in 2019 to a session of theirs to speak there. And that's why they got me on as ambassador, and then they discovered more of work we do. So this innovation of ours, the way we handle our professional learning programs, has now been acknowledged as an innovation at a global level. So all the schools who participated, the work we have done, it was a very intensive program. It involved giving them almost 100 hours of effort, which we had done with various schools, capsulated into 2 to 3 pages. And then they did, I think we perhaps didn't reach the top, was scalable with resources at a global level. So I think that will happen in the next round. We will improve and we will make this available on a larger scale. The larger scale, the challenge was capacity building. I think that's perhaps where we were stressed. Building capacity to getting money is easy, getting investment is easy, but capacity building and not having enough of coaches and people who can train, which I think is Monisha's important point. Perhaps that's where we were not able to make it the top 10. Anyway, I feel very grateful that we were shortlisted to the global level. Thank you, Monisha.
Yeah. Thank you. And the thing like talking about capacity building, actually, we're going slow on that because we want the like-minded coaches to join the team. The philosophy cannot get diluted. It has to be the right people guiding the teachers, because otherwise we are going to lose out on the entire thing. So today, if we are able to deliver, is because we have a chairman who is keeping, that the vision is there. The value systems have to be in place. We cannot diversify at all. It has to be done in a certain way. So that keeps everything in focus. And similarly, the coaches who join the team have to be, so we are going slow, like Sandeep said, but we surely will arrive. We've gone a long way from where we started, that's for sure. To encourage book reading, we have started a book reading club where we meet once a month. And thankfully, see, again, teachers themselves get so enthusiastic and attracted to these programs and the discussions that are happening in these programs, that last Sunday when we met, there was a request from the teachers saying, once a month is less. And it's on a Sunday, by the way, it's not on a working day, in the evening. And they're saying, can we have it more often? Maybe twice a month or, 10 days, every 10 days or so, which was heartwarming because we thought maybe Sundays it's not going to really catch up. But now they want it more often than just once a month. Besides that, podcasts, a lot of you have also come on to these podcasts. And this is, I think, 163 talk sessions have been done.
Yeah, Monisha, there were 7 seasons done in the last 18 months. 7 seasons, 118 months, 163 shows. But the icing of the cake was the 100 passionate educators. The 100 passionate educators, we have just completed show number 96. We have 3 more to go. And on 23rd of October, we will complete 100 weeks, one after the other. So we have not missed a single week in 100 weeks. And educators with us who came on board, Australia to Vancouver, to Finland, to Africa, to America, we have a major resource. You talk of Hong Kong, you talk of Finland, you talk of Turkey, you talk of Middle East. You even have countries from the former Russian East Europe. So the educator spread was fantastic, absolutely. And these were teachers, these were innovators, these are, high thinkers, if I may call them. These were people who were giving their time, money, resource, investing in the welfare of schools and teachers. So that's the series. It's called 100 Passionate Educators. Elizabeth, you have a question?
I do have a question, if I may. And,
yeah, sure.
And part of it is, well, really, it's how do you do all of this? How do you?
I tell you how, Elizabeth. I have Monisha and Sandeep who are workaholics. They work 24/7 and drive everyone insane.
Passionate people, sir.
Passionate, really.
Yeah.
It is such, what a great, I'm not exaggerating, what a great team we have. It is just because of the team all this is happening. And
Monisha, please open the team page. So sir saying too much. Please go back to the team tab. There's a tab you missed out on team. The third tab. Home, join and team. Yeah, just do the team tab. Sorry, sir. Thank you, brought it up.
So now we have a team of, so in this team, you will find there are teachers also. There are leaders also. There are people from different walks of life. Not everyone's the head of his school. So it's like, that's again something that I feel that this particular platform has allowed people of different walks, but they all have one focus in life. And that focus is to ensure that children are benefited from whatever they do, literally. And that is what is taking them forward with the learning. So like Saisha has recently become a team member, and she is from she's from Australia.
Alice Springs.
Alice Springs.
Alice Springs.
Alice Springs, she worked with the Northern Territory Department of Education. she's a special ed person
Special ed.
who
Yeah.
has her roots from India. That's why she joined Learning Forward India. She also joined Learning Forward US. So what we do is all these people you see here, we make them pay $69 for US because you support us and you love us. And then we make them pay 1,100 rupees in India for a life membership. Because, and
Okay.
all our advisory board members have to pay a $69. It's a mandate, which I think is well worth it.
Absolutely. And like Sir said, we are workaholics because by the end of it, we have people around us who ensure that we work that out. So if we have teachers on the team, their questions never finish. Now to find their answers, we need to get going. And then we have Sir to show us the direction. And more than anything else, technology-wise, I think we're lucky to have Sandeep on the block. Actually, one person who drives us insane is him. God, how many multiple things we are managing, we know. Before we get used to Telegram, he's got another thing that he wants us to do now, get onto Slack, now do this. So I think managing all these things empowered us, and because we felt a little better, then we passed on that feeling of happiness to the others also. And in today's date and time, if we are not technology enabled, we are limited. Let's be very honest about that.
Mm-hmm. Well, and you're also creative and innovative, and just really this idea that you said at the very beginning about sort of capturing people where they are to move them along is coming through in every program you're describing, every innovation and every initiative. So it's really exciting. I know that we are at our time actually. So, but we would love to, first, I'd just like to thank you for everything you shared today, all the wonderful work you're doing, the inspiration that you have given the Learning Forward team today, this focus that you have on joy and creativity and putting students at the center is really impressive and exciting. So thank you for sharing that with us today. And then I would love to have another one of these conversations soon. We won't let as much time go by again. And then the Learning Forward team, we were talking a little bit before this meeting about how to share your experiences and your energy with the rest of the affiliates, because I know that a lot of them would love to be able to engage in a conversation with you. And we haven't been able to do that because we haven't been in person for so long. So we will commit to thinking about how to figure that out on our end. And if you have ideas, we'd love to hear them, because you are the creative team. So if you have ideas for how that might work, please do let us know. Sandeep?
Yeah. See, if you see in our 100 educators whom we spoke, there were 10 from the US. And out of 10 from the US, 5 are connected with Learning Forward. So whether it's Kathy or whether it's Steve Cardwell or whether it's Fred, the people whom we kind of connected with. So we have kind of been able to create this kind of, I would say, brand positioning for Learning Forward and what Learning Forward can do for teachers. Whole idea of doing this Passionate Educator series was that, where we had a conversation with them, we shared with them what they were doing and what we could do. I think it may be a good way. One good way taking ahead from this was we could simply do a talk show with your affiliates. Give it a thought. This could be one way where we could do. And I think audio is one way where we could talk to your affiliates, where we can develop a small 2-3 group of affiliates and have a simple conversation.
I like that idea. I think that would be great. And I know I know that a lot of the affiliate leaders would sign up for that because they'd love to talk with you. So let's figure out the best time to do something like that. I think we could do it in the next couple of months. Do you agree, Nikki?
Yeah, that would be great.
That would be great.
Yeah, we have some examples like a revolution in education or what we did with verbal in California. So we have actually connected with people even beyond the learning forward system in America. So there are examples. We can share some of those, one or two of those shows, how we have done the shows with them to actually share learning and experience theirs as well as ours.
Could you share that with us? Could you send
Yeah,
us
it's
a link? Or
absolutely. It's
or is
called
it-
A Revolution in Education. And it was done by Chris Unger of Northeastern University. Northwestern or Northeastern, I think Northeastern. He hosted the show. I ended up in 2 of his episodes where he got educators from US and educators from India to actually come together and see what is this revolution in education that's happening across the world. So I will share the link and email so that will give you an idea as to how this can be done. The show is available on video. It's available on podcast both. So that's one way we can do it together. We can also, like Monisha said, we are more than happy to contribute all our learning and our intellectual property to your pool. If you want to use it in any way or publish it as a learning forward property, please take it from our side. We'd be happy to support that.
Thank you. That's wonderful. Appreciate it.
Sandeep, we could even open this up to coaches from their side. So anybody who wants to, work with the team on Athena as a coach.
Yeah, absolutely. See, what happened on the Athena platform, we are always looking for coaches. Our challenge today is we don't have enough coaches, and America is the coaching factory of the world. Sometimes you say these sentences, it kind of hits very wrongly. Don't misunderstand me, but you have the capacity to create coaches, and we have the capacity to create mentees. So I'm sure these two we can blend together and actually do things together. So and in this case, time zone will not be a challenge, because once the educator has put up a video on the Athena platform, which so many of you are familiar with, you can definitely have your coaches come by, and in their propensity to do pro bono, they would actually help an educator in India. So it will be service on your part, while it will be skill on our part. That could be another way of collaborating.
That's a great idea. All right. Well, thank you so much. We will be in touch by email to follow up on some of these ideas. And I just want to thank you again for your time and thoughtfulness today. It was really a pleasure.
Thank you all of you. And I think
Thank
Learning
you.
for India is very, very fortunate that we have such passionate people working with us, in our team. And that is why all this is happening and we get the results and feel happy about it. The children are happy, the teachers are happy, we are happy.
If there was a way that we could figure out how to attach and harness that energy, we could solve the world's energy problem by tapping into the energy of you all. So just thank you all so much for today. Really appreciate it. And I'm excited for our next conversation. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Frederick. Thanks, Nikki, and thanks, Elizabeth.
Thank you,
Thank you,
so
everyone.
much.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.